Welcome back. We are your local election headquarters. We want to make sure you are informed before you go to the polls. We have several candidates in that have been on our noon show for the past few weeks. Today we have Democratic candidate for governor of Arkansas, Jared Henderson, joining us today. Thank you for joining us, Jared.
Hey, it's great to be here.
We appreciate you for coming in. We have a very special guest. You're going to want to stick around for the end of this interview for our special guest. But first, you may hear him during the interview as well. Very sweet here in the studio. First, talk about, why did you want to run for governor?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that state government can be an enormous way to do good, to expand opportunity. And, there are pockets of the state where things are working well, but I've spent most of the last 10 years of my career in the Delta in South Arkansas. There's a big need to think boldly in education and business development and healthcare so that everybody in the state gets a fair shot.
And I want to talk about education for a second. It certainly made the headlines here in Little Rock and across the state with the Little Rock Education Association. Some of the issues happening there. I wanted to get your take on all of that.
Yeah, well, I mean, we do not have a more important responsibility in state government than providing a good education for all of our children. But I think that what has happened, what's at stake is removing teacher fair dismissal in 22 Little Rock schools. And I think that's the wrong direction. I think that if we're going to provide a great education for all of our kids, teaching needs to be one of our most attractive, respected, and sustainable professions. And in the rare instances where a teacher needs to be dismissed, we have the ability to do that today. We do not have to threaten the security of all of our teachers in these schools to achieve that. So I think it's the wrong move.
What do you think needs to be done? I know education has been one of your big platforms since the beginning of your campaign during this race. What changes do you want to see in education?
Well, first of all, we have to start with a bold goal. If we're tinkering around the edges here, we're not going to give our kids what they deserve. I think that in a decade, this could be one of the best states in the United States to be a public school teacher. I think part of that is tied to pay and benefits, and my campaign's put forth a plan to fund much higher pay. But I also think there's some simple opportunities like scaling back paperwork and bureaucracy that are drowning teachers in red tape and demoralizing them. I think we can make a lot of progress in the first few months of my administration with the right focus.
You are up against a Republican incumbent, current Governor Asa Hutchinson. How do you differentiate yourself from your opponent?
Yeah, well, we have very different ideas and what we believe will unlock potential in this state. He's running on a $180 million tax cut that's only for the top 12%. I want to have a dramatic increase in teacher pay. He's put a lot of focus on making it harder for certain people in the state to get Medicaid. I think our focus in healthcare needs to be how do we lower the cost of health insurance for everyone. When it talks about economic development, I think we're missing a big opportunity to unleash small business development, especially in our rural communities, so that we see some prosperity in every community, not just a few.
We are now, less than a week away from Election Day.
I cannot believe
next Tuesday. What does the next week look like for you?
Well, so far versus 2014, we're seeing incredible turnout. And we're going to use every minute and every second we have left to connect with as many voters as we can just to maximize that turnout. We think if a lot of people vote, good things are going to happen.
Okay, today is Halloween, by the way, not stopping you on the campaign trail. We have a special guest in the studio. We have an astronaut in the studio, buried the lead. It's a big deal. There is a real astronaut here in the studio. Tell us about your little astronaut.
Yes. Come here, buddy.
Oh, he's putting on a show for everybody in the studio.
My little boy, he's a joy, but he doesn't always cooperate. This is Duke.
And we think he might want to be an astronaut when he grows up. So we also, this patch says commander. That's not his rank. That's just his actual role at home. He's the commander. So
it's funny how that happens. Duke, I love your Halloween. Papa, is that what? Or Dada? Is that what you're saying? Dada?
Papa. Hey, Duke, what does this sticker say? Vote Dada.
Vote Dada. There you go. Good spokesperson you have there.
He's the best.
Happy Halloween. Has he been able to trick or treat yet?
Tonight. Yeah, weather permitting, we're going to get him out. So.
Okay, he can brave the elements in that.
Oh,
absolutely.
He's a pretty brave little guy.
Thank you for bringing him in. We appreciate you. Jared Henderson. Again, Henderson faces incumbent Asa Hutchinson. We did interview Governor Asa Hutchinson just over 2 weeks ago here on Arkansas Today. You can find his interview and all of our interviews on our website, Arkansas Today. We'll be right back.